So yeah, my voice seems to calm me down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a fairy tale. It's called Film as Film: Understanding and Judging Movies. Perkins. Chapter 1: Pursuits of Happiness, the Hollywood Comedy of Remarriage, Stanley Cowell. Chapter 1: Cons and Pros, The Lady Eve. It is a leading thought of mine about the film comedies of remarriage. I'm also going to practice my English pronunciation, which I forgot, for the future, perhaps. Comedies of remarriage that they each have a way of acknowledging the issue of the relation of actor and character. In particular, that each has a way of harping on the identity of the real woman cast in its principal pair. We can make a start in reading The Lady Eve, 1941, without considering its generic allegiances and their Shakespearean background. From the name in its title and from the animated title cards, we know that Preston Sturges is going to present us with some comic version of the story of the expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Ooh! And sure enough, the film opens with a young man and his guardian shadow leaving a tropical... Yes, guardian shadow, leaving a tropical island on which he has been devoted to what he calls the pursuit of knowledge. Alright. That something is mixed up in his knowledge is confirmed at once by the camera's drifting, as if bored or embarrassed, away from his delivery of his farewell speech declaring the purity of his pursuit, to discover his shadow leading nubile native down to the shore, the pair sporting chains of flowers. No comments. This line of stay is picked up as the leading lady attracts the young man's attention. Yeah, I mean, it's time for me to die, really. And be reborn, blah blah blah. Attracts the... I don't know why I said that. The young man's attention by clunking him on the head with an apple. Ah, that's cool. And again by the intimate enmity revealed between the man's snake and the woman's dreams. Their relationship is broken anyway. Their plans are by the man's coming into new knowledge. I don't know what that sentence meant. As if this were not enough, we are shown the fall of the man repeated over and over, and the idea of falling man. I don't know why I did that. Over and over and over and over again, and the idea of falling is explicitly and differently interpreted by each of two characters, Curly and Eve, as if daring us to interpret it for ourselves. This line of argument has a most satisfactory conclusion in the man's closing declaration that he does not want to know. Had our common ancestors said that in the beginning there would be no question of endings. No question of endings! Which is my favorite question. All ends well. But even if we consider that Shakespearean romance itself tends to invoke the myth of Eden, such considerations merely scratch... Did I do that? Did I do that? Half an hour ago? Whatever. Such considerations merely scratch at the surface... she did that! Such considerations merely scratch at the surface iconography of this film. Of course, these considerations also merely pick up superficial items in the myth of Eden. Silence descends. Or pick them up superficially. New sentence. The myth is after all about the creation of woman and about the temptability of man. Now, The Lady Eve is about a con artist. Yes! Barbara Stanwyck, introduced as Jean, reintroduced as Eve, who calls herself, because she's a woman, an adventuress, and it is equally about the gullibility of a man, Henry Fonda, however, forever actually, being called a mug or a sucker. Wow. Jean's name for him is Hopsy. Eve's name for him and the world's is Charles. But can the film be seen to be about the creation of a woman? Beep! Jean's central con of this man requires her reappearance as the Lady Eve. Her associate Curly, Eric Blore, Curly! No, I don't know then. Sir Alfred McGlennon, whatever, Keith, at the moment, explains her reappearance by telling Hopsy / Charles the story of Cecilia, or the coachman's daughter, filling him, as Sir Alfred puts it, with handsome coachmen, elderly earls, young wives, and 2 little girls who look exactly alike. That is, with the very farcing of romance. Jean as Eve continues Sir Alfred's image by asking, "You mean he actually swallowed that?" and is told, "like a wolf." As though this story was the biggest of the fruits of the tree of knowledge that he was to be handed. He got coned. Cons and pros. The chapter heading. That's what we... Eve has her own explanation of Charles' readiness to accept her story. That is, to accept her as not Jean. Namely, that they really do not look the same to one another as they did on the boat, because they no longer feel as they did then about one another. On the boat, she says, we had this awful yen for one another. Whatever the psychological validity and interest of her explanation, it is a fragment of reasonable view of what romance is. Quoting one editor of The Tempest, yes, for romance deals in marvelous events and solves its problems through metamorphosis and recognition scenes. Oh no. Through, or in other words, transformations of perception. By the time the pair find themselves alone again, riding horses... riding horses through the wooden paths, compelled by the beauty of a sunset to dismount and look. And look! And the man has begun repeating his own self, declared romance to the woman, a line of story he had originally feigned to criticize as dull as a drugstore novel. A repetition even the horse tries to tell him is inappropriate. Even the horse tries to tell him is inappropriate. A repetition even the horse tried to tell him is inappropriate. A brilliant half sentence, no? By that time it may dawn on us that Preston Sturges is trying to tell us that tales of romance... I have a horrible accent. Are inherently feats of conning catching, of conning, making gulls or suckers of their accidents audience. And that film, with its typical stories of love set on luxurious ships or in mansions, and containing beautiful people and horses and sunsets and miraculously happy endings, is inherently romantic. Everything I hate in one sentence. Granted then that this film does invite us to consider the source of romance, what is the implication? That we as the audience of film are fated, or anyway meant, to be gulled by film, including this film? This makes our position seem the same as Hopsy Charles's, but don't we also feel that our position is equally to be allied with the woman's at the man's expense? Who are these people, and what is their position? Let us approach them by getting deeper into this film's identifying of itself with the tradition of romance. Take first the feature of the actions moving from a starting place of impasse to a place Fry calls the green world, a place in which perspective and renewal are to be achieved. Which is where I started. I should die now, really. I mean, die and, yeah. That's as far as I went in my notes. Of course, I have like 13/16/24 more pages of